So this video came about because I realized I'm going to be spending a Japanese themed week. I don't know why that sounded so weird, but first I want to go visit my favorite Japanese hair salon. It's getting so hot. I just want to keep rocking the short hair. Secondly, for Mother's Day, we're going to go to a sashimi buffet, or it's just Japanese buffet. And I realized, you know what? This could be the right time to finally start reading some Japanese authors. I enjoy the vibe of like Japanese fiction from film so much that I can never find the same magic in Japanese literature. On top of that, there's also the translation factor. If a translation is faithful to the original language, the magic will be lost upon us. I just feel like I'm missing some sort of nuance to a certain scene or a certain dialogue, and I can't seem to get it when I read Japanese fiction as compared to like when I watch the film. I would fall in love with it because there's so much that's spoken in the silence, like between the lines, and you can clearly see it from their body language or expressions. I've never completed a book that's like translated work of Japanese books. We gotta change that because I feel like I'm missing out on a lot of good literature. But yeah, we'll find out in the end whether I will have any favorites, what I don't like about Japanese translated novels, any authors that I don't like. I don't know. Yesterday, I started reading Kitchen by Banana Yoshimoto. This is probably like the one book that I'm the most interested in. I really like books about kitchen. I find it to be the one place that holds so much personality, memories, and also a lot of sadness. Actually, not sadness, maybe melancholy. There are a lot of times when I'm preparing food in the kitchen, I feel this sort of sadness because I'm hit with the realization that I'm just a human. I'm making sustenance for myself, and this is it. Life is just this: food, air, water, sleep. I don't feel a lot of joy in the kitchen, but I feel a lot of joy when I'm eating. So I was always intrigued about this book. And then I started reading it. I share a lot of the sentiments that Banana Yoshimoto has written in this book about kitchens and memories, and how memories are kind of associated with the kitchen, but also it's like a meditative space, especially for people to process their emotions. And in this book's case, process grief. I just finished this book. My thoughts about it, fresh out of the oven. Her writing is very quiet. When I read, there is a voice inside my head that's like actually reading the text. This voice in my head is very dull, but not in a bad way. And then suddenly, jaws are dropping, okay? There are a lot of moments, not a lot, but just a few key moments in this book that I didn't see coming because of this quiet tone. In contrast with all of these jaw-dropping moments, I'm hit with this immense sadness that, you know what? Oh my god, I'm gonna cry talking about this. Grief is so mundane. The kitchen is a mundane place. Everybody have like different rituals in the kitchen to feed themselves, but still, somewhere you go every day because you have to. And then grief is something in a similar fashion. In some way, everyone goes through grief. Just this loneliness that you feel every day because we're in no way connected to anyone. Okay, not even blood relations. Even with your family, you still feel this distance, maybe a little bit shorter, but distance between humans. And grief is just an everyday thing. It's embedded in your daily rituals. You just kind of live with grief. And that is so sad to me, especially delivered in that quiet tone. Hits me like a truck, okay? I thoroughly enjoyed her writing. I think I will enjoy a lot of her other books as well. This book really started off this vlog in a really good note, and also it's the best book for me to dip my toes into Banana Yoshimoto, and I really loved reading this book. I love a lot of Japanese films, so I do want to mention some if they pop out in my head when I read the book. So one film that popped up in my head when I read Kitchen, it has a similar undertone of sadness. This film is so much more fun to watch, but I find it very sad. I find it to be a very sad movie, but I really, really love this movie. It's called Memories of Matsuko. This is just charting the life of this woman, Matsuko. She died, and then her nephew is kind of like combing through her belongings, and very sad things happened in her life, and by the end of it, it's just her death. Were there any happy moments in her life? Maybe, but we die in the end. That's it. I find that feeling to be very similar to what I felt reading Kitchen. Now back to books. I looked through my bookcase and I realized I only have 2 books that I kept from Japanese authors. I used to buy them a lot. I kind of resold them or donated them. So now currently I only have 2 with me. This is the thicker one. This is Lonely Castle in the Mirror by Mizuki Tsujimura. I don't know what this is about. When I bought this book, I just thought it was pretty. Still think it's pretty. That's why it's still in my bookcase. Wow, very high ratings on Goodreads. So it's about 7 students that are avoiding going to school, and then they discover a portal into another world that offers a temporary escape from their stressful lives. We shall see if I will enjoy this, but still, I would keep it because it's very pretty. And then I also have Revenge by Yoko Ogawa. I actually really like Yoko Ogawa's writing. Unfortunately, I didn't know that it's a short story collection when I got it. I don't like short stories that much. I can't immerse myself in them. So as you can see, my old bookmark is I write after the first story and then I just stopped. But I do enjoy the translation and also her writing. So that's why I kept it. Apparently, the short stories are kind of interconnected. Slice of life with an unhinged edge to it. Anyways, I will be reading this. Today I'm going to go to the hair salon. Finally, I've been getting really annoyed by the hair that's like touching my neck. I'm trying to go for a shorter haircut. So for my reading update, I actually read a book called The Rope Artist by Fuminori Nakamura. I don't know whether the author is a man or a woman. Let me see. Fuminori. Oh, he's a man. Okay, I'm planning to DNF the book, but before I tell you why, The Rope Artist is about this murder. The main character, he is a detective, but he was interested or he was like kind of entangled with the first murder, this woman who killed the rope artist, this bondage fanatic, and he decided to cover up for her. We are reading from his perspective. His thoughts is just he is desiring this woman, and you know what? Valid. Your feelings are valid, bro. But him as a detective, during the whole process, he's still thinking like, I want something from her. Like he's imagining her being tied up and stuff like that. And I'm just like, no thanks. I do not want to be in the mind of a straight man right now, let alone a man who can't control his desires. I am planning to DNF the book. I'm like 25% in, and I just searched on Storygraph. It seems like the ratings are really low. So on to my next read. I'll update you again. You'll probably see me with new hair the next time. I am a mood reader, so after The Rope Artist, I kind of picked the first book that came into my vicinity and I thought it was interesting. And that book is Forbidden Colors by Yukio Mishima. Side eye, this book. I don't know, it's so fascinating. I like Yukio Mishima's writing because it's philosophical, but also that makes the book very dense. The prose is amazing. The translator, Alfred H. Marks, he did a really good job translating everything. Very, very beautiful prose, but just philosophical passages that just makes you think. Let me just tell you briefly what the book is about. The book talks about gay relationships, men who love men in post-war Japan. So the protagonist of the book is this old man who, right from the start, he is telling you he doesn't really like women. He is just this venomous woman-hating incel. I wrote my notes here. Being in his head feels like incel, misogynistic Reddit thread, but make it literary. This old man's name is Shunsuke. He has been in 3 marriages with women, all of which he's not really interested in them. But in the last one, his 3rd wife, she was like sleeping around with people. And this whole time when she was cheating on him, Shunsuke knew and he wasn't happy about it, but I guess he wasn't that interested in women. And I think that disinterest in women is not coming from a fact that he didn't find women to be sexually attractive. No, it came from a point where he's just misogynistic. In the first part of the book, he meets this young man called Yuichi. Yuichi is this Greek god. Okay, he's young, he looks hot. Yuichi is the other main character in this book. And upon their first meeting, the way Shunsuke describes Yuichi, I've never seen someone describe men in that way. It's so worshipping. It's so like, oh my god, you are my god. And not to say that you shouldn't worship men. No, I think it's fine. It's just, it's so over the top. This is the passage, okay? It was an amazingly beautiful young man. His body surpassed the sculptures of ancient Greece. Hello? Like what? It was like the Apollo molded in bronze by an artist of the Peloponnesus school. It overflowed with gentle beauty and carried such a noble column of a neck, such gently sloping shoulders, such a softly broad chest, such elegantly rounded wrists, such a rapidly tapering, tightly filled trunk, such legs, stoutly filled out like a heroic sword. This went on for like a full 2 pages more. At first I thought, oh, does this mean Shunsuke is gay? Like he's admiring young men in that way? Does he find them attractive? Does he find men attractive? That's why he's so woman-hating. The more I read on, the more I realized this whole worshipping of Yuichi, it was more so admiration for youth because he's old. He's aged. Beauty and youth, that is what he's looking for. And it's not necessarily love, sexual desire. I might be wrong. I'm not that far into the book. Somewhere down the line, the plot is very much about Shunsuke manipulating Yuichi into taking some sort of vengeance towards women. This older man is very much just projecting his hate towards women and wanting a gay man to act the same way as he does. I must say it's a very good book. Whenever a book leads me into deep thought and can spark some sort of new thought in me, 100% it's a good book, okay? Regardless of what it's talking about. Some passages that I highlighted in Shunsuke's monologue, he talks a lot about what is real, especially his works. So in this passage, he says, in order for Yuichi's desire to come into reality, either his desire or his concept of what was real must perish. In this world, it is believed art and reality live quietly side by side, but art must dare to break the laws of reality. Why? In order that it alone may exist. It is kind of breaking the fourth wall, talking about Mishima. Like, Mishima is talking about his own work in a sense. It has to, quoting him, renounce war against reality. Like with this book, I think it was pretty controversial at that time. In order for this work to be real, another paragraph that talks about Yuichi's desire. This is Yuichi's thoughts on his sexual orientation. He's gay. He knows that he's gay, but he's kind of rejecting this identity at this point. He doesn't want to date anyone. And this is his thought, which is, if I, who, though I cannot love women, wish only to love women, loved the boy, after all a man, would he not become transformed into some unspeakably ugly woman-like creature? Love brings about all kinds of unwished for changes in the one who is loved, does it not? So this is his reasoning behind why he couldn't love a boy who, I think when he was in school, liked him, and then he was like thinking about whether to reciprocate or not. Very interesting work that I don't think I'm able to complete within a few weeks. Like, I don't want to finish this book just for the sake of the video. So I'm going to take my time with it and put a pause to it. I know a lot of people can't stand how misogynistic the main character is, but I don't know why the way he writes it makes me feel like Shunsuke's feelings are valid. I can see where he's coming from, even though very clearly he's just being an incel. I think one redeeming thing about Shunsuke is he is a writer in this book itself. He doesn't write about his misogynistic values in his books. So he's only talking about them in his inner monologue. Mishima just delivers this very nuanced, complex view of human desires while giving you a lot of philosophical thought to it. I would really recommend this book to everyone, just for a very slow read. A lot to think about, a lot to go back and find the connections. I'm finding a lot of joy in doing that. I think I will read a female author next. I have had quite enough of Japanese misogyny. This just makes me think a lot about misogyny. Like, the misogyny that I know in my communities, I thought it's already pretty bad. Other communities have it worse. And I just think it's actually crazy. Like, having incel energy in real life is crazy. Okay? Gotta touch grass. Y'all have to touch grass. I don't understand why we're living in a man's world, but you still gotta like compress women into nothing. You want to turn women into nothingness. Absolutely crazy to me. Okay? Absolutely crazy concept to me. Anyways, I think I will read a female author next. Thank you very much. It's 4. I just woke up. Actually, it's 5 now. Yeah, rise and shine. Beautiful day ahead of us. So this weekend, I'm not going to be doing anything except for reading. I'm happy. I'm really happy. An introvert's dream. I'm not halfway through, but I'm like this much into Revenge by Yoko Ogawa, and then I plan to just finish the other book that I have. Honestly, this kind of changed my mind on short stories. I like that it's interconnected. That's why I seem to be enjoying them. You will see the next story featuring one of the characters that appeared in the previous one. So you get kind of excited to read on just to see who are we learning more about next. And every story in this features death in a way. I think this collection really lays out upon you like a film in a way. And you kind of learn about people that appeared before your eyes, like in this scene. And the next scene is like hyper focus on that person, and you learn more about their lives and how there's some sort of unhinged association to death in their life. I'm quite surprised that I like this, and I'm really glad that I kept this. It's a very short read. I would really recommend this to anyone who doesn't really like short stories. It reads like a novel. I'll probably share some final thoughts after I finish my last book of this video, which is Lonely Castle in the Mirror. Oh, wait, what's this? Oh, it's outside. Look at the sunset today. I really like this. It's like grayish. It's not as warm on camera, but it's really warm outside. It's really nice. Orangey. I just realized this old bookmark is so cute. This was from an event that I attended once. It was like a themed event where we have to dress up as like Greek gods and Greek goddesses. Is that it? I got like a personalized bookmark with my name and then a quote that they picked for us. Mine is, each of us is more than the worst thing we've ever done. And at the back, we are assigned with a goddess or god. So I got Goddess of Justice. It's just so cute. I completely forgot about this bookmark because it has been in this book for years until now. Felt kind of magical finding something so long ago. But I still have this much left to the book. Applause, because I finally finished this book, this thick-ass book. Before I go into this book, let me just give you a short wrap-up of Yoko Ogawa's Revenge. I enjoyed this book. a lot, especially the last two stories. It kind of skews your perspective on the beginning stories. So now you're left with a lot of questions and this feeling of wanting to go back to read the entire thing again. Is it horrifying? Not really. Even though there's like deaths and murders in this, a lot of weird shit, I don't really think it's scary. So I think it's just a nice palate refresher. And then Lonely Castle in the Mirror. So what this book is about, there are these 7 students who are not going to school. So during school hours, they're not in school. The main character in this, which is called Kokoro, I think, she's not in school because she was bullied, like severely bullied, and she has anxiety because of it. So whenever she thinks about school, she will get like really bad stomach aches and she can't go to school. So she hasn't been going to school for a long time and her mom is kind of pressuring her. And then one day there's a mirror in her room. This mirror starts to shine, I think, and then she can access this lonely castle, this magical castle through the mirror. In that castle, she meets 6 other students who are facing the same feelings. They're not going to school during school hours. They're tasked with finding a key to open this wishing door, I think. Whoever finds that key and opens the door, they will be granted a wish. And then after they are granted that wish, this whole castle will disappear and everyone's memories with it will also disappear. It reads kind of like a YA. It deals with a very important topic, which is bullying and a school not being a safe place for students to be in, or a school that's so constraining and limiting that it just makes students not want to learn, like not want to go to school. It's just that I'm so far from that time period of my life where I don't like to go to school. I guess it would be very relatable to me at that time, but just not now. And I find it to be a pity that I didn't enjoy my reading experience. The right time has passed. Kind of a bummer, but it is a good book. The only thing is in the beginning, I didn't like reading the beginning parts of the book because we're in the head of Kokoro and she is a very timid, okay, I don't want to say she's timid, but I think she's frozen in the sense where she can't really say what she wants to say because she's so frozen in fear and anxiety. There's no action per se in the first part of the book. It's more so just exploring how she feels, how isolating, lonely, confused, and anxious she feels. And I didn't like being in her head because all this while I'm just like thinking, can't you at least tell your family what you're feeling so that people can help you? But I guess frozen in fear, that's a trauma response. And that is a valid response. You just need to get through the first part of the book in order to get to the action, which is what actually happens in the castle. There's a lot of plot twists or revelations of the castle that I did really enjoy in this book. So stick through it and this will be quite rewarding. But I don't have anything else to say about this book. Maybe it's just too happily ever after for me compared to like my other reads. Surprisingly, I enjoy the more philosophical books better, like Yukio Mishima, even though that gave me a headache, I swear. Which brings me to my next topic. Before I wrap up the video, I found a film that is about Yukio Mishima. It's called Mishima, Life in 4 Chapters, I believe. Oh my god, this film is so beautiful. Let me see if I can like insert some of the stills here. Probably one of my new favorite films because it's so beautiful. Watching the film actually feels like reading a Mishima book. And that is so crazy to me. Like being able to capture his life, the essence of him like that in the film. If you haven't read any of Mishima's books, just watch the film. You'll get to know so much more of the themes that he explores in all of his books. I got so much more context as to who he is and what he's dealing with and the things that he's actually obsessed over in his life. The book made so much more sense to me now. So this is one of the cases where getting to know more about the author will help your reading experience tremendously. Watching the film made me spiral in a way where I just feel so overwhelmed with being a human. Like I feel so much being a human. Like how he is, like he feels so much. He is truly the thinking human and he can express all of his thoughts in such a delicate way with precision. And I'm just Damn. I cried watching the film. I had to pause the film just to calm down a little bit because I was spiraling, because he really showed the agony of being a human, which is we know too much yet too little at the same time. We have so many questions, things we want to do. We have so many desires. We want to change the world, but how do we really change the world? That is one thing that he is obsessed over. Like the quote that I mentioned in the section where I talked about the book, right? He sent me into a crisis where I just feel so grateful for this human experience, but also I just realized life is so short. He passed away when he was 45. In his long short life, he did so much. He kind of lived to the fullest, I would say. He lived loudly, and I'm so in awe of that. My final verdict reading Japanese books is just, you gotta be in a mentally sound and mentally well place. I guess they just send you into spirals, different spirals in life, in a like really nice and kind way. One thing that I noticed in Japanese literature, it might just be the books that I chose to read. I don't find a lot of humor in them. Like I don't find myself laughing. So I'm kind of missing that in books. Like I like humor in my books. I like dark humor. I like deadpan humor in my books. I like weird humor in my books. Yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know if there are any good Japanese books that you really enjoy, you really love. I have The Housekeeper and the Professor by Yoko Ogawa on my TBR list, but other than that, I don't think I have any other Japanese authors on my TBR list. But yes, that is it. See you next time.